And we are live from behind the printer. What's going on, everybody? Wow, my face is totally gonna be covered for almost the entire stream. I've got a stool here. Let's see. It's maybe a little too tall. What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back. This is almost the this is the last Wednesday of the month. Yeah. I hope everyone's doing awesome. We are continuing today with the Venture XL, this beast. I will go over some good news, some bad news, and sort of what my plans are in just a moment here. But let's see who's all in the house today. We've got, man, it's gonna bug me that my face is like right in the bar the entire stream. Let's see, Tuxedo's here, Lord Getface, Nice is in the house, Shrimp Father, how's it going? Sorry, Shrimp, didn't mean to scare ya. Greenbeard, Del Mar is here. I know Del Mar is taking off you said in an hour to drive to 30 Printopia. Hey, John. Kegel's here. I saw Hasio asking if the bed was leveled. It is not. Let's see. Anybody else that I'm missing? I think that's everyone I got so far. I think I said hi to Nice, so I didn't. Hi, Nice. Hey, JT. Hey, Steve. How's it going? Hope everybody's having a great day. Yeah, let me update you guys on what I've done, because I've spent between last Wednesday and this Wednesday many hours in this garage kind of messing around with this thing. So I've made quite a bit of progress. Hey, Rob. Hey, Kenneth. So, man, where to even begin? Let's start where we left off last week, and then I'll just kind of go from there. So let me change cameras to the side camera and kind of go over things. So last week we had started on the cable chains. It's gonna be a little, I don't even know how much you'll be able to see, but I will do my best to show you guys things through the crevices. So, there's notification. I can't see it. I'll run over to the tablet really quick. Nice with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, man. Cheers. I'll see if I can read off who got them. Beads got one, Robin got one, Los got one, Chuck got one, and Steven got one. Thank you, Nice. So yeah, we started on the cable chains last week. I think we finished the X, and then I was working on Y, maybe. Does that sound about right? So the things I've done is I had to move the X chain over a little bit. I probably could add a couple more links. There's a bit of a gap here. One concern I have is this cable. Can you see that cable at all? Let me see. Not really. There's this colored cable right here, which is for the LEDs that are underneath the X carriage. And I have some concerns as to the length of it. I could always extend it, but it is a little bit shorter than I would like. I don't want to say it's got slack. It's like under very, very light tension. So that's something that we'll see about. I probably could add a couple more chains, but I'm gonna leave it for now. I got the Y chain done, which was relatively simple. So we've got our, really just our CAN cable running through here. So we did that. And then I've got the Z cable installed, which I just finished up last night. Let me see if I can show you guys this. So other things I've done is I just I labeled and grouped the bed cables together. They're not sleeved. I might sleeve them. I don't know how much. Honestly, it's at the back of the printer. I don't think you'll really be able to see it. I don't know how much I truthfully care to cover these, but I did group them together. I also installed, let me take you guys a little bit higher up. So the Z cable, or the Z motors, excuse me, didn't have their wires plugged in. So I connected all the 4 wires and routed them. That took me a little while, both because it just took me a little while, but also because looking at I'll show you guys this. Let's see here. Also, let me just check chat again. Hey, Lewis. How's Mini Me? He's been doing, let me change camera again really quick here. We'll do zoomed out, I guess. So he's been doing really good up until last night. I've been having a hard time sleeping. I usually go to bed at like 1:30 or 2, but the last few nights I've been tossing and turning till like 4. A few nights ago, I don't think I actually was able to fall asleep till 6, but I got into bed at 2 o'clock. I heard him crying. So Landon's been with Aaron at night, and then Jackson usually wakes up around anywhere between 11 and 1:30, and then he's with me for the night. And so when I was trying to go to bed, I heard him crying. And then as I was laying in bed for 2 hours trying to sleep, I heard him crying a little bit more throughout the night. And this morning, Aaron said he basically was just like crying all night long. And right now, he was like sleeping for a few minutes by the fire inside, and woke up and like instantly started aggressively screaming. So I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's sick. We've tried burping him. We've tried feeding him. I tried Jackson. I had to do these like bicycle kick things and like push in to try to like help him with gas. I tried that. Had no cigar. So I'm not sure what's going on with him, but he is definitely not having a good day. And Erin's exhausted. I mean, she didn't sleep like at all last night. So I took Jackson out for just like an hour and a half or so this morning, hoping that she'd be able to get some rest. But he was still up and crying pretty much the whole time. So yeah, it's been. If you had asked me a day before today, I would have been like, yeah, things are going well. But yeah, the last 24 hours have been pretty freaking brutal. Nightmares are trying for attention. With Jackson or Landon, Jackson is probably more of an attention thing, I think. But once I get him in the guest room, he starts off the night in his bed, and then he wakes up, and now he's in the guest room, which is where I've been crashing out. And so he'll sleep through the night in there. But with Landon, I think it's something else. Yeah, it's definitely, it's tough because like with Jackson now, he's at the point where like if he's not feeling good, he can say like owie and point at what's hurting. But with Landon, like I have no idea. I mean, he's three and a half weeks old. So yeah, we have no idea. So hopefully it's just kind of a freak thing that passes. But yeah, it'll probably be a shorter stream today. I know I started a little bit late, but I don't think I'll run it for more than 2 hours. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. So when it came to the Z, routing the Z wires, the thing that threw me off a little bit was the instructions again. So I didn't realize I missed it, that I was supposed to run the wires way before right here. And this isn't FYSETC's fault, this was just my fault. And so it's very clear like the direction you're supposed to run them, but I had a little bit of a difficult time seeing like where in the channels they're supposed to be ran. Like I ended up doing bottom, inner, I don't know if I'd call that inner outer, but like outer, and then there's only one option here. And then this one, it looks like based off the image that it's on the outside, but I think it's just because they can't show you because of the angle of this. So it would have been nice if they had either real photos or even like a short video for this, just kind of showing it. So I like looked at this a little bit longer than I probably needed to, trying to make sure I was doing it correctly. There's also a notice because on the back panel, basically where I ran the wires, you have these standoffs, and so the wires have to go over those little standoff things or those little mounting points. But I, as of right now, am not installing panels because I've seen that they're either cut really tight or they're just too thin, and so they warp like crazy, even if you're not printing at really, warmer temps. So for now, I'm not doing panels. That's also, you might have seen on this side. So I mounted the electronics box last night, and you wouldn't want to do this. The instructions actually have you do this before putting the panel on, but I got feedback from someone, and it's also just not possible, as far as I can tell, to get the panel on after this is here. So I will, when I do end up doing panels, whether it is their panels with some sort of additional secure points or whether I cut thicker panels, I'll have to pull this whole thing off, which I'm not super excited about, but it's not that bad. It was pretty difficult getting the T-nuts, the little roll-in nuts, lined up with the mounting points on this, I will say, but it's pretty secure. I mean, this is the weakest spot because it's in the air, but the rest of the panel is pretty dang secure. So yeah, I spent quite a bit of time really just routing electrical. All the stuff underneath bed, I connected all of the neutral wires for the 4 beds, and then all the rest of the wires are just kind of rat's nested through here. I already know for certain that there's one wire. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Let me zoom in a little bit more. That might do. So for sure, this is an AB wire, is too short. The plug, like this is the full distance I can get it right there. So we'll have to remove that, and I'll end up probably just soldering and extending those wires so we can get them to, I think it's over here maybe, or it's somewhere underneath this fan. Other thing I did as well, I did more. What am I saying? I did a lot more. I also mounted this guy, so the LCD screen is in place. That was relatively straightforward. And then my plan long term with this thing, I don't think I'll have it on the ground because it's just so big that... No, I don't think I'll have it on the ground because it'll be at a height where it's kind of awkward to be on the ground, because like it might be tall, but the build plate's still down here, so you'd have to crouch down every time. So I'm very likely going to build a cart similar to what it's on right now. And so the game plan was similar to what Taylor or Kanik did, was to not use casters. However, once I got the neutral wires installed underneath and the screen, I realized that at least the screen protrudes beneath the aluminum brackets for the feet, so it would be putting all the printer's pressure on the screen and possibly the neutral wire. So I did install the casters for right now. I know that it looked like Taylor basically had printed out like just printed feet standoffs, which I might end up doing, or I might just end up leaving it on casters and then basically roll it onto the cart that I make for it, and then have some kind of a trim so that way the casters can't fall off, or like the thing can't fall off. But if I ever need to move this thing or transfer it on the ground, then I've got the casters on it, because getting them on and off, like flipping this thing over, is not a ton of fun. So yeah, hopefully it's just gas. Maybe it's allergic or something. I mean, maybe. Yeah, it was definitely rough. We're hanging in there, Hobo. It was a rough night, man. Landon was pretty much up all night long, so Aaron's exhausted, and he's been just kind of like screaming. So I mean, he's just drinking milk, so I don't know if, like, you know, Aaron had something that, but I don't know. I don't know how that all works as far as like what mama eats and what happens with baby feeding. I'm not certified. I'm not certified to speak on the matter. So now to the bad news, and this is something that I feel really silly about, and I should have realized this a long time ago. So this printer is wired for 20 amps based off of what I think Taylor said and what I saw somewhere else. Technically, it would be able to run at 15 amps, especially if you stagger the heaters, which is what I planned on doing. However, last night I grabbed the power cable for this thing and realized I can't actually plug this in anywhere. For anyone that's not aware, the only thing I've ever used with 20 amp is my dryer, right? And there's a plug in the side of the house, but a 20 amp cable or 20 amp circuit, in the US, like normally the connector would be this would have another one right here. They're parallel to each other, but on 20 amp, you've got one that's flipped 90 degrees. And I was planning on plugging this into the 115 amp dedicated circuit I have in the garage, but I can't. So I have no way of currently plugging this thing in, which is really a bummer. So I'm not exactly sure what my game plan is. The plan long term, my dryer is you're right, my dryer is 220, isn't it? Is it 220? Are we certain it's 220? So a couple things. The plan has always been that I need 220 amp circuits in this garage. I was gonna have one over here and one over here, mainly because here comes Jack. Hold on. You wanna say hi to everybody?
What's wrong with what's with your pants?
Well, Jackson's gonna say hi really quick, everybody. Can you stand up? No, stand up. Stand up real quick. Wave forward. Wave. No, it's way over there. Wave over there. He's waving. Hi. What are you doing with your tongue? Okay, Daddy's gotta work. You gotta go inside with Mommy, okay? Okay, I love you. Mwah. I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Go take a little nap. You have a full belly. I made you some yummy food. And he came out right now. When he came out right now, I was like, what is he wearing? It's like a skirt. You guys couldn't see it right now, but he came out right now in what I thought was a skirt. But I guess Aaron told him put pants on before he comes out and says hi, and he grabbed a shirt and put a shirt on his pants. So that's what was going on there. If the wiring in your walls is 12, you can swap out the 15 amp. I've heard that, and it is a new build, and so it's possible that that's the case, but I don't know whether that's the case or not. So a couple things. The plan has been that I was going to get a 20 amp circuit over here and a 20 amp circuit over here, because during winter time I need to run a heater in here because it's freezing and it draws a ton of power. And then I cannot run that with the dust collection for the CNC. I kept tripping the circuits or the breaker last season. So that's always been the plan. And I have, other than outside of 3D printing, I haven't really done any electrical work. I installed smart plugs in the living room, and then I added ceiling fans, but there was already pre-existing hookups. So it's basically just making sure that the switch was off, screwing in the wires, and then bolting the thing to the ceiling. So I looked into what the process is like to add a 20 amp circuit, or to add a circuit months ago, and also again last night.
Smiley face emoji.
He loves ice cream. Nice, thank you. Nice donation. He is definitely, every time he finishes his dinner, he shoves the last piece in his mouth and says, "All done, ice cream." So, and I did quite a bit of digging last night, and I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp on what's required. Basically, figure out the spot that I want it, make sure there's not a stud behind it, drill through it, or not drill, cut, you know, get the blue plastic receptacle box, trace the wall, cut through the wall, go up into the ceiling or the attic above it, drill with I can't think of what the bit's called, but the spade bit, is that right? Maybe it's a spade bit. Drill through, fish the 12-2, I can't think of what it's called, the wiring, but the 12-2 wire down through the hole, pull it through, then go over to the panel and run it down there, shut off the main power before I'm in the box, shut off the main power to the panel, basically hook up ground, neutral, add the live to the 20 amp circuit into an empty spot, pop it in, turn it back on, and you're good to go. So I feel pretty confident in the process. I just haven't done it. And I think the biggest question mark for me is I haven't pulled the panel off the wall yet to see what it looks like up top, but I do have concerns with cutting a huge rectangle in the wall if I need to be able to get the wire in there. And then the probably bigger thing is that Aaron does not love the idea of me running electrical. And I know that we're messing around with electrical. We're messing around with electrical on stream all the time, and it is AC wire, which is really not any different. And my plan is to pull permits and have the inspector come out and sign off on it. But she's still not crazy about it. So I did call a little bit before this stream a local electrical company and basically explained those two things. There's a few other things that I want to get done, like the mini split hookup, which I don't plan on doing myself, as well as potentially a sub panel to a shed in the future, which I also don't plan on doing myself. But what I want to do is get a quote for what it would cost to add two 20 amp circuits in such a short distance from the panel. And if the price isn't insane, I might just do that. If the price is absolutely bonkers, which based off of online, like I've seen everything from like a couple $100s to $1,000. So I have no idea what a company would quote. Based off that will probably be the determining factor on what I end up doing. But long story short, we will stream this today, probably connect a lot of the stuff to the controller, and then depending on what happens, whether, I don't know when they're gonna be able to come out, I'm waiting on a callback, we will probably pause the build for at least a week and do something else while I figure out what's going on and how to get my 20 amp circuits in the garage. So that's basically where I'm at. So, yeah. 110, 120, whatever it takes. It's not dangerous if you know what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, I think that like, as long as you take your time, it doesn't feel like there's too many ways that you could screw things up. And I know saying that is silly, but like, you know, as long as you connect ground to ground, live to live, neutral to neutral, everything is tied correctly around the receptacle, using the correct gauge wire, and you turn off your main before you get in the sub panel, like, I don't really see, like, I do think that the biggest pain is going to be the routing of the wire. I also want to climb up into the attic here to see what it even looks like up there. I haven't been up in the garage attic, so I don't know how easy it is. Like, we have an issue in the living room that I need to address, and I thought I'll just climb up in the attic. Well, I climbed up in the attic, and because the ceiling is a not a trellis, but a oh, what is it called? On a house, the triangular wood pieces. Somebody will know in chat. But because of how steep it is, because of that, as well as all of the HVAC being ran through there, I'm like, I have literally no way to get to where I need to go. But that shouldn't be the issue in the garage. I assume that once I get up there, it's probably relatively wide open. So, yeah. Best to do both at once. If you have to pay, most items will share time and cost. Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that like we just currently don't have the budget for adding the AC hookup along with the couple other things that I wanted. The 220 amp circuits, I would have them do both at the same time, not just one, but I don't think we have we got hit with another medical bill. Like I don't want to talk about that. I want to get into printer stuff, but like I thought I misunderstood our insurance costs, and we got hit with another bill for Landon that I wasn't expecting that was well over $1,000. And so like the electrical money is just not, the budget for it is not really there right now. I'm not pausing. No 3D Printopia. I wish. Yeah, the interesting thing with code is one thing that tripped me out too, Zombie, because like I looked and the city I'm in uses, I think it's 2017 NEC, or is it 2023? Either one of those two. But like you look at the NEC handbook or the book, and it's like 300 pages of just like, it feels like they gatekeep it a little bit. I'm like, where's the cheat sheet for like, these are the codes that are like, this is what's important for residential house adding a receptacle. But I feel like as long as I mirror, what they did when they wired the house, which it's a new house, only a couple years old, that like everything should be up to code, I'd be fine. But yeah, the code is a little bit intimidating to me because of that. If it's 12 log wire, then you're golden, yeah. Hey, Viking! Being human is an expensive endeavor. Yes, it is. Code only matters when you sell the house. No, for the sake of safety in the family, as well as home insurance, I want to make sure everything's up to code. They do have basic guides. Well, I only found the big one. If you make it look good, they'll never know. I have a copy of 2020 AC. It's a fun read. Yeah, I pulled up the PDF last night and was like, dear God, this is not 1:30 in the morning reading. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's plug some cables in, everybody. Mostly non-AC cables. Let's see. So we are on electrical components. Fun stuff. That is not electrical. It's silly to me that they have install the little cutting arm under electrical components. That doesn't feel appropriate. But okay, so I did this already, which was basically connect the four neutral bed wires to this little bar. It's basically a bar, and then it has a beefy single neutral wire coming off of it. So I did that, and then this is where the LCD screen cables ran. All other cables go through there. I did the display installation. This I was a little uncertain about. It says install a magnetic ring at each end of the display screen. I couldn't find that, but I did some looking last night and saw someone say that it's not where you'd expect it. So I will look one more time for this. Let's see. In Europe, most of the homes have 40 amps, mono or triphase, 400 volts, neutral. In the UK, although there's regulations, you're at the mercy of who did that over the age of the house. I've seen some crazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've been reading a bunch of stuff about electrical and basically saw that, like, if you have an older house, it's probably not up to code. Okay, so I definitely don't see it in here. This is all hinges, electrical stuff. Great, let's move you off to here. Okay, I think this is the cable. So it says, the thing that's a little bit weird to me is it says to install this like magnetic clip, right? And I don't really understand why. It definitely, so when I installed the screen, I don't see how I could have put it in here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. The images are just not very big. Let's see, can I zoom? So inside here, you basically plug it in right here. You have to go over the fan, which seems silly to me because you're basically blocking, you know, some of the airflow. And then it goes out here. So I don't see anywhere that could be one of those electrical ring things. So I'm going to ignore that. But on the other side, I can install one, but I wonder if it's just to like support it by having it snap onto the metal or to the steel electronics box. So I'll grab one of these, excuse me, but I don't fully understand what its purpose is, if I'm being honest with you. It's a little strange to me. I don't think it has anything to do with it affecting the signal of the cable. But yeah, it's basically, is this... Well, that's not... Is it for the signal of the cable? Is that what this is? Because it doesn't stick to anything, so the magnets... It's interesting. I really don't know... I've never seen that needed on a cable like this before. So it basically just goes over... I don't know if you guys probably can't see what the heck I'm doing, can you? I guess I will install it on this one side for now, and if for some reason I run into like signal issues with the cable, I can install on the other end, but I've never used something like this on a ribbon cable. Did I break it? Nope. So yeah, it basically just slots over the cable and then snaps in place and is loose. So I can install it outside of the screen display. And then this we won't be able to use either. This little I'm just gonna rip this off. This little adhesive piece. But I think I'll wait to install... Oh, the display cable just goes right here. I guess like we can install that. That way we feel like we've done a thing. Yeah, I wonder if it has something to do with like the signal, like help with noise or something like that. Does anyone have any... Help slow down the noise. It's just to absorb RF interference. Got it. Okay. I've never used that before. I guess I'm in Boise, Idaho about 10 years ago. I had the main panel completely rewired, and then a 220 ran along the back of the Panasonic air conditioner, and it was about... Wow. So you're not far from me. I'm in Nampa, Idaho. I imagine that would cost, I don't know, 4 or 5 times that amount now. Because I mean, just doing a Google search online of how much does it cost, like what's the average cost nationwide to add a dedicated circuit? And obviously there's a lot of factors. In my case, I would think it would be on the cheaper end because of the fact that it's so close to the panel. It's a attic that's, you know, should be wide open. But the price range is like anywhere from, I think the low end was like $300 up to $1,000 per circuit. And I'm like, last night I added all the stuff to the cart just for fun, like the receptacles, the boxes, the wire, everything. And I think that for 2 dedicated circuits, it was gonna cost me like $200, and that's including the cost to have someone come out and inspect her and basically, you know, sign off on it. It should be placed, okay, got it, as close as possible to the screen. Okay, so I'll grab the other one then. That's good to know. Yeah, I guess like now that I have it in my, I didn't know where it was last night, so I just was reading it and it says magnet. So I didn't fully understand it, but the fact that it's for noise does make sense then. I'm curious if I can even access it now that I have this thing flipped like this. Oh, that's not gonna be very easy, is it? I will hold off. I will hold on to this piece, but I will hold off because I don't want to flip this thing over again. It's sketchy every time I have to flip it, but that's good to know. Ours was an old farmhouse, so much of the same with the old, just make it work. However, it did skip the knob and tube phase. Copper prices have increased significantly since then. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. It's magnetizable, but not a magnet as such. Got it. Okay, so I did the electrical box install. I took off the front door panel. Someone told me it's pretty fragile, so I didn't want it whipping back and forth while we were working on it. And then basically all cables get ran through this hole, and then the LCD cable goes through there. So, all right, let's start by removing the fans and take a look underneath it. Bring you guys down. I also think that even if I somehow get the 20 amp thing figured out by next Wednesday, which is highly unlikely, we'll probably do a different stream next week. I think we'll do one. Oh, now that I thought about it, actually, I don't know that I will be able to stream from upstairs without taking the whole desktop, but we'll figure it out. Next Tuesday is my birthday, so it'd be fun to have like just a chill hang out and print stream instead of building in the hot garage. But I don't think I'll be able to stream from upstairs without moving everything. It's a lot of work to move the desktop, all monitors and everything up and down the stairs, so we'll see. I'll figure it out. Unplug that. Yeah. Okay. Hey Brent! Party time. Sit and eat cake. Maybe we'll just, your birthday's on Monday? Oh, happy early birthday! You're a Libra too then, right? I'm pretty sure that there's a cutoff at some point in September, but I think you must be probably Libra as well. So let's start by connecting our bed AC to this guy. There's no number or there's no letters like that on here, but I'm pretty sure the board itself is labeled, and I labeled the plugs. So let's try that. I'll just order some pineapple pizza and we'll just kind of hang out. That sounds fun. Okay, so yeah, let's move the camera up to this guy right here. And I did a sweet job of, oh, I don't even know if these are long enough. Oh my, oh, maybe? I don't really want to tug on these. These are, really, is there not more length? Oh, there's a little more length. Not a lot, but a little. Jeez, okay. Great, of course this one needs to go way up there. Well, I might have to... dang, dude. That's a bummer. I wonder if I can route it differently. I don't want to pull on it anymore. I don't, yeah, it's too tight. It needs slack. I'll have to figure out that one then. Does anyone know what this, because I could, since it's AC, I can't solder it. I could cut. You know what I could do? I could probably use Legos and just basically strip it out of Lego, but I'd have to recrimp this, and I'm not exactly sure. If anyone knows what exactly this connector type is called, I think someone said it might just be a right angle, like spade style connector, but here, if you guys can see this, I'm gonna have to order some of these. I definitely don't have this type of cable. It's just a right angle spade. It's kind of what it looks like to me. I wonder though, crimping it might be interesting. I don't know if the regular, because I've got here, let me show you guys this. It looks like just like a right angle spade probably. Flag connector, but you need a dedicated die to crimp it. I don't know if I have it. I probably don't. I assume this guy's not gonna work. This is what I usually use for spades. I wonder if I can just get the die for it, because these have swappable teeth on them. But yeah, I don't think this will work for that. But this is what I would normally use if it was just a standard spade connector. If you're wondering, you don't have it. Yeah, I wonder if iWis makes just some jaws I can buy for it specifically. I don't think there's any other way I could have ran it to make it make it fit. Okay, you're saying it's called a flag connector. All right, I'll look into that then. Let's see if the other ones at least can fit. So we're not gonna do that one. Here's D. D is way long. This, I mean, if I end up getting the proper crimp tool for this, I'll probably just end up shortening a lot of these because these are super long, most of them. It's just the one that's really short. The rest of them are perfectly fine. Well, I mean, by a long shot. I've got so much slack on the rest of them. And this is C. C is right here. Okay, that's in. You're able to swap the short with the long. The wire is not hung up. I had to swap out some of the wire. What did I do initially? They sent me... I'm trying to remember how I did it. So initially this didn't have... There was no fuses, so they sent fuses. And with the fuses, I think the fuses were already pre-wired. How did I swap them out? It's gotta be, it's the farthest bed. Like it's the, I don't know if I can show it with the camera, maybe. But it's gotta be this bed, the front left bed, which has the longest travel distance. I can shine a light underneath it and see if I see it hung up anywhere, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I pulled everything through as best as I could. Yeah, no, it's definitely not, it's definitely not. I mean, I guess what I could do... I could get a different connector type. I can see what connectors I have upstairs, possibly get a different connector type, and just add sort of a jumper wire in between it all. I don't love the idea of that. I'd rather just have the cable ran, you know, all the way. In this case, I'll be using a Wago, but yeah, I might have another crimp upstairs that I could use to basically connect some wire in between them. Yeah, it's a monster. It is a monster. Wait. If I cut, is that what you're saying? Hold on. If I cut this, because this is long enough. I'm being silly, aren't I? Can't I just use Wago? Yeah, if I cut this guy and use a Wago and connect it to this guy, I could totally do this. You're right. You're right. What am I saying? I totally can do it. I just need to cut them and use Wagos. Because this has a lot of extra, so I cut these down. I wonder if I should just use Wagos for all of them. That way I can shorten them and somehow maybe mount the Wagos to this. I'll play around with that a little bit later, but yeah, that's a good point. Since I already have other ones crimped with longer wires, why couldn't I just swap it using the Wagos? That's what I'll likely end up doing. For now, we'll leave it like that though, but that's a good call. Two inline Wagos. Do they have, I've actually, the only Wagos I've used are, oh, wow. Yeah, maybe I'll order some of these then instead of using, because I didn't even realize that these were a thing. I've always only ever used these type, but for the sake of this, I would much rather use inline, and then I can just cut and shorten all the cables pretty easily. "12 AUG, 20 amp." This should, so 221 should be compatible. Okay, I'll leave this tab open. I'll probably just end up ordering these, and I'll cut all the wires so that way they're at more of an appropriate length. I just Uber Eats those. What? Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you. It's one of those things, right? Where like if you haven't used it before, you don't know they exist. I've got a bunch of these upstairs, but yeah, for the sake of cleanliness and not having a bunch of blocks, this looks like a way nicer setup. Yep, I will definitely order a set of those after the stream. Thank you for that. Okay, so the thing that will be interesting is I have a fair amount of stuff labeled, but I also, like for the Z motors, I have no idea what is what. I guess I can probably try to gauge it based off of their length, but they're all pretty freaking tangled. Let's get these installed. Let's get our thermistors installed. So yeah, thermistors are going in right here. So let's just, how do I want to do this? Do I want to pull this out? Yeah, we'll do that. Let's tear through the tape. Okay, so A is going right here. Nope. A is going right there. Well, let me bring the stool around. If the battery's charged on this enough, I'll take you guys with me. Yeah, 84%, we're good. Hey, Dan. Yeah, I'm gonna move the tablet to right here so I can see chat. I'm also gonna move the camera a little bit so I've got cleaner access to what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so we need B next. This is B. Trying to clean up the wires in this box is going to be interesting. Ideally, I'd shorten everything, but I will very likely end up just trying to sort of zip tie things together as much as I possibly can. Let's see, here's letter C. Okay, well this is tangled, so that's fun. I will disconnect this really quick. Maybe? Are these pinched to remove, or how do you remove these? Does it just pull up harder? Kind of looks like it's pinched to remove. Or no, I see it. There's actually a little, it's a little arm. Let's see, I need a tiny flathead. Tiny flathead, where did you go? Okay, we'll try these, I guess. Tweezers. Well, let's get the arm back. There we go. Nope. What did I do to the arm?
Great, now the arm's loose. Fantastic. Let's try it again. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. That is on. This is the... Will we see magic smoke? No. I thought we were going to see power today until midnight last night. I was so happy with the progress I'd made. And then I grabbed the power cable and looked at it, and then my heart sunk, and I was like, oh my gosh. I should have known, like, I haven't... I think I mentioned earlier, but the only 220 I've ever been around, or not 220, but like 20 amp, is the dryer, and I've plugged it in, you know, once or twice, but okay, we'll just tear this, that's fine. I completely blanked on the fact that the receptacle is a different connector. Hey, Raj. Yeah, like ideally especially this guy, like it should be recrimped shorter. It's so long, but I'll end up just sort of bunching it in with all this and zip tying these and kind of tucking them down below. But for now, we'll leave the rat's nest. That's okay. Okay, so yeah, we got those. This looks like, how does this come off? Oh, there's another screw. Got it. Okay. Where? Oh, there you are. Oh. So they give you spare drivers, it looks like? Because I have a box of drivers, but it looks like we've already got drivers pre-installed, so it's kind of nice. Very thoughtful. Unless the drivers are known to be faulty, and that's why they give you spares, but let's hope that's not the case. Okay. All right, so we've got access now to all of our, a lot of capacitors, a lot of beefy capacitors. It is 48 volts for XY, yeah. So we've got XY or AB, and then Z1 or Z0, Z1, Z2, Z3, and then there's another stepper motor or stepper driver that's on the CAN bus board, which I assume is probably just a 2209. I think these are all 2209s. I can't see. Oops, sorry, I know my head's in the way. I can't see. I'll unplug one. It's covered, but I see S22. I have to assume it's probably 2209s. Okay. The big guys are, I'm pretty sure they are 5160s. You can also unplug one of these, maybe. Not the easiest to get to without taking off the... Well, I'm taking the heatsink off. So let's look at the... I looked at them before. Let's not take those off. Yeah, they're 5160s. We looked at them. Here, this is the spare ones that they send. The big 5160s. Okay, so CAN wires. So we'll go here. So looks like CAN can go to any of those. So that's just our 12 volts. Let me make sure I've got a Phillips head. This looks like a Phillips head. Oops, I need to switch the, oh, I can do it from here. Let's see, if I click on side view, nope, that's zoomed. There we go. Okay. Wow. So, bring you guys up, bring you guys this way, and then zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let me find our CAN wire. It should be a black wire, I think. You know what? It's actually, I think it's this guy right here. Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's this guy. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and install these. Try to untangle them as best I can. How's everybody's week going? Hopefully well. Aaron said it's officially fall. I think it was yesterday or the day before is the first day of fall, so officially fall here. Okay. Let's run our black wire. Do I want to run it underneath things? Maybe not. That's all AC stuff. Maybe I'll keep it above. I kind of like the idea of running it underneath for organizing, but maybe I'll keep the low voltage up top. Oh, this is... They ran it together. Maybe I will just end up zip tying it all together. For now, let's just leave it loose, I suppose. Okay, so we've got our CAN negative. Okay. And then we've got our CAN positive, which will go right here. 22nd. The 22nd was autumn equinox. Okay. Liking the fall weather so far. Is it getting a little cooler? It's dropped. It's still warm. Like, I don't know what the temperature in the garage is right now. I haven't looked this morning, but yesterday was like 80 something. So right now it is 79. The high is 87 today. So today's like the peak of the heat. Of course, I think I remember that because I told Aaron, but we got some nice drop off. Like, I don't know how well you guys can see that, but so it gets cooler the next couple days and it climbs to 86. But after that, we dropped to 73 and then high 60s, which is like, that would have been really nice temperature to stream in the garage at. But we will do more streams out here. I want to get the VCore 4 toolhead swapped out and get that thing updated. And then I really finally want to get the Milo electronics done and running. So the Milo will be a perfect thing to bring down here to the garage where it was always going to live, and finally get that guy up and running. Maybe a year later. It was 57 this morning, 80 this afternoon. Wow, that's a pretty big spread. 57's like, ooh, a little chilly, and then 80's like a little hot. My oldest got the shingles disease. Oh my gosh. I don't know much about... Is shingles... Shingles isn't... This is going to maybe be a silly question, and I apologize if it is, but shingles isn't the same... No, okay. What is shingles? And what is the thing that you can get that's like chicken pox, but as an adult that's more dangerous? That's the main reason I haven't streamed all summer. I can only stream from the garage. Oh god, yeah. I get it. I mean, we streamed, it was 95 in here when we were streaming the other day and I was miserable. Like right now is, right now it says 86.4, so that's a lot cooler than it's kind of been. Still not. Okay, it is. That is it. So okay, so at 12 years old, if you get it, it's called shingles then. I don't know what the cutoff is in age, like where it goes from like chicken pox to now it's shingles. I'm really sorry though, that's awful. I don't know what that's, I mean, I vaguely remember having chicken pox as a kid because I remember having, I think, an oatmeal bath and then my cat Sabrina hanging out with me while I was miserable for a few days. That's really awful. I'm sorry to hear that, Nice. I don't know if there's like medicine or if it's just like oatmeal baths and rests or what you can do, but that's awful. So A motor and B motor
is down here at the bottom. I know I need to extend one of those. Display. Okay, so we'll plug in our can. This says fan, but what fan is that? I don't know what fan that's referencing. That must be like our A. It probably doesn't matter. These are probably both of the. I'm gonna make an assumption here, which could be wrong, but these are probably for our motor AB fans, and they're gonna be running, I assume, with the same speed, the same setting. So probably doesn't matter on that. So we can plug in our can and plug in our fans. No, I thought that, I mean, I don't know. I think my mom had it at one point. I remember my mom getting really sick, and I swore she said it was shingles, and she probably would have been in her 40s at the time. But I thought that if you got chicken pox, you can't get shingles. But I don't quote me on that. I have no idea whether that's a true statement or whether that's incorrect. But I thought that shingles was what you can get as like an adult or an older person if you haven't gotten chicken pox as a kid. Okay, so this is our can wire, and it looks like our can wire, where did it go? It looks like it's the very bottom right. I think it's this guy. So can wire is going in right there. Maybe? There we go. Okay, can wire's in. What's the next thing I said I wanted to do? Fan wires, right? Yeah. So let's see if I can find, there should be 2 fan wires. Let's see. Other way around. Oh, interesting. Wait, hold on, let me read all this. I had chickenpox as a kid, had shingles a few years ago, but it was very mild, no discomfort, fortunately. The difference is the virus is located near nerves, so painful, better to have it at 12-year-old instead of 50. Interesting. So if you have chickenpox, you're susceptible to shingles. I know I had mumps twice, which I was told is impossible. Is chickenpox, is there a vaccine for chickenpox or no? Do you have, like, I don't know. I know that I don't remember hearing anything about Jackson yet with having to get, if you had chickenpox, you might get shingles later in life. That's crazy. Yeah, I had no idea. I got it at 5 months and now oh, he had it at 5 months and now 12 years. That's awful. Hey, GPs. Yeah, we're doing all right, man. Like, we're like family side stuff things here. Aaron had a horrible night. Landon was up screaming like all night long, and he's not seeming to do better today. We're not really sure what the heck's going on with him. And then I discovered that I'm silly, which we all knew I was silly, but like now it's confirmed. And I spent a bunch of time on this, anticipating today we'd be able to like fire it up and start doing firmware, like maybe see it move. But then I grabbed the power cable and realized, oh wait, a 20 amp circuit has a completely different connection to the receptacle. I have no way of plugging this printer in. So now I'm trying to figure out whether it's something I want to try to tackle myself or whether I want to hire it out. Aaron, I have not done home electrical. I've added a smart switch. I've installed a ceiling fan to a pre-existing hookup. Aaron's not crazy about the idea of me messing around with home electrical, even if I do it with a inspector, like, you know, the way you're supposed to do it above board. So I did call this morning an electrician. I was yesterday at the grocery store, saw a guy with an electrical shirt on, took a photo of his shirt and called today. So I'm waiting to see what the price is going to be like, but yeah, I've basically got to get some dedicated 20 amp circuits here. Okay, gotcha. There's a vaccine. No chickenpox to see when I was a kid though. Got it. Yeah, I don't know if there was one when I had one. Now I think there are vaccines for both. I know there are shingles. Got it. Just got the one for shingles about a year ago. I would recommend it when they suggest it. Okay. Yeah, I had a doctor's appointment Monday, and I know that they said I needed, well, when we went to China last year, sorry, let me hold on, think for a second here. I cannot multitask effectively. Just trying to untangle this as much as possible before I put it where it needs to go. So here's one of our fan cables. These are also, yeah, ideally a lot of these should get recrimped shorter. I'd rather have longer cables than shorter cables, to be fair. Wait, this says HF. That doesn't make sense though. HF to me would be like heater fan or hot end fan.
but we're running CAN bus, so everything should be going over CAN. So I'm gonna assume that this label is probably incorrect, and I think the only fan wires I could see us having would be for those motors. So I'm just gonna plug this in here. I hope that's correct. I mean, worst comes to worst, our fans won't behave the way they should, and I'll figure it out. Here's our other fan cable. Yeah, so I went to the doctors, and like when we went to China, we got some shots. We got like flu shots. We got, I don't have my medical record from when I was a child. Yeah, these both say HF, so they must be just reused fans like that. So we got hepatitis, and I was supposed to get like boosters, but I haven't gotten boosters, but I'm pretty sure I got it as a kid, and so I'm trying to see if I can, need to reach out to my mom and see if she has my medical record. I know it was in like a 3-ring binder, but I need to get a tetanus shot, and I haven't gotten a tetanus shot in a really long time, and I didn't get it the other day when I was there because I know that that's the one where it feels like a donkey kicked you in your arm for a couple days, and with having a newborn and just lifting and moving a lot of stuff, I'm like, I can't be out of commission for 24 hours, but I do need to get a size. So GPs, it's my understanding that this should be able to operate at 15 amp. I know that Taylor did like a first look at this machine. He did a video and mentioned that like Phoenix also as well can operate off of a 15 amp circuit. I think that it might be a little bit risky if you heat all the beds at one time, but my plan was always to like basically cycle heat, where I think there's a macro I saw where it like heats up one bed 10C, then stops, then heats up another bed 10C, then stops, and like kind of does it like that. So I could potentially rewire the, I don't know if this looks like a unique connector. I don't know that I can even use this same panel without modifying it, but I could rewire it probably to a 15 amp input, but I've been wanting/needing to get 20 amps in the garage anyway, and they do intend for you, like, I mean, they intend for you to run it at 20 amps, or to have a, like, the cable they provide you with is a 20 amp cable, so it looks like it's huge. It's a monster of a cable. So that's the connection on the printer side, and then the connection on the the wall or receptacle side. The state you grew up in might have your immunization record, especially when I was in elementary school. I went to private school. I didn't go to public school until high school, so I know that the private school was really strict on vaccinations, so I'm pretty sure I've got it, but pretty sure isn't sure, Must be 12 log cord. Yeah. Any future plans for Model 12? Yeah, the dream is that this thing eventually probably has index on it. That's like long term, I think, the dream here. But when and how, I don't know. Daniel, do you have a fuse in the inlet on this thing? I don't see a fuse, no. I don't see like some of the AC inlets, but there's a little pop-out fuse. Doesn't look like it, no. It looks like it's just the inlet for that cable. I would think this is a real problem for a lot of people. Yeah, I agree. I agree, GPs. I did look last night when I discovered this and went in panic mode. I did look in FYSETC Discord and saw somebody else in the States that basically said the same thing, and I think that they were, I don't know if they were going to rewire to what they were doing with theirs, but yeah, I don't think most households in the States have it. I did read that it said that it's not uncommon for garages to have a 20 amp dedicated circuit, but I've looked around. There's one other spot. Hold on, let me check one other spot over here, but I'm almost positive that I don't have. Let me see if I unplug this guy right here. This is a horrible place for it. It's literally behind the water heater. Yeah, no, that's just a regular plug. Yeah, I don't think I've got any in here. And I've actually looked, what am I saying? I've looked in the, really quickly here. I'm just gonna open up my panel. Oh, I'm pretty sure the only thing marked as, so there's a bunch of like 2-pole fuses. So it looks like there's 20 amps to the, what is this? Wait, this says garage. This says 20. These are 20 amp. It says garage outlets and garage doors. And these are 20 amp circuits. Or there's a 20 amp breaker in both spots. I'm gonna stand on a stool and check if the garage doors are on 20 amp. That's what, I mean, that's, let me see if I go here. Can you guys, I can't tell if you guys can see me or not, but yeah, you guys can see. Can you get a 20 amp plug that fits in your outlet? If not, swap outlets. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's all I would need to do is swap the receptacle, because I'm looking at it and literally both the garage doors and the, let's unplug my garage door real quick here. Okay, so that is the one. So maybe that's it. All I'd have to do is swap out the receptacle. I'm gonna unplug one more thing here, just to make sure. I wanna make sure I don't unplug the, okay, that was just the fan. Yeah, so all the outlets are just your standard, like 110, but if I look at like inside of that box, it shows 20. So I might be able to just do that. And if that's the case, I can probably, I still think technically you're supposed to get a permit for it, but they might have 15 amp outlets on a 20 amp breaker, but you would need to check the wiring on the wall is rated for 20 amp. Plug the printer into 2 circuits in the house. How would I split circuits though? That's some excellent spaghetti. Thank you, Milo. Can you get a 20 amp plug that fits your outlets? Does that exist? Is there such thing as a 20 amp? Like, I don't know. I don't know this, so I'm curious. Does anybody know? Let me see if I go side view. Here we go. Does anyone know if it exists? Because I was gonna have to probably get an extension cable anyway for this, so I was looking at 20 amp extension cables. But does anyone know if there is a cable, like an extension that you could plug this into that basically converts it to like the standard 110 15 amp connector? I mean, if it is 20 amp, otherwise I'd have to swap the receptacle. That's interesting though, that it shows 20 amp. I wonder if my dedicated is also, I'm gonna check one last thing. Let me check one last thing here. So I do have a dedicated circuit. I had them installed, but I'm pretty sure that was a 15 amp and not a 20. But if they did 20 everywhere else in the garage, why would they have just ran it? Garage doors, garage outlets, living furnace, dedicated ceiling, bonus, bath, micro, kitchen, dishwasher, AC. I wonder if they didn't even run a dedicated outlet where they were supposed to, because I don't see anything labeled for it. But yeah, these are 20 amp. I would assume that a build would not put 20 amp circuit breakers in a home that weren't using 12 AUG wire. There are adapters to do that, but it's not a good idea. If you can check to see if the circuit is 20 amp capable, you might just want to swap the wall outlet to 20 amp capable. Hey, man of the croc. Amazon has cords like that. I got one for my Milo for 240 volts. I'd be worried about that, especially without knowing if your wall wiring isn't rated for 20 amp. Got it. So in your opinion, then the best bet is what? Basically, kill the power to the garage, pull the receptacle, and just measure the diameter of the wire? Just get 3-phase 440 in the shop. Easiest way to check the wiring is to pull the cover off of your panel and compare the wires. Gotcha. Because there are 15 amp, I think I've got at least two 15 amps. Yeah, there's 15 amps higher up. Got it. So if I just look at the wire going into the 15 amp and look at the wire going to the 20 amp, I'd be able to see that the diameter is different between the two. And if it is different between the two and wider, like it should be, also, so I'm gonna try to zoom in because I have a question. I assume there's a lot of people here that have done some sort of home electrical. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, so I'm gonna shine some light, and then we'll get back to printer stuff, I promise. But because this is really like a big, this is a big holdup in this whole thing. So let me see if I zoom in over here. I gotta turn the light so we can actually see what the heck I'm talking about. There we go. So looking at, oh, you can't see that because we're way out of focus. Okay, so if I zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so there's my panel. And I'm gonna bring the tablet so you guys can hear me. And I know it's dangerous, not too dangerous. On the wire becomes the fuse. Yeah, so a few things here. So for one, it looks like I've got quite a bit of open spots. It looks like I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like my main on-off is underneath it, which is different than most of what I have seen. It comes in from the top, but it looks like in this case it's underneath it. And then the thing that I found interesting right now is a lot of the panels I saw online are like, they basically go down to right here. Because mine has this big area right here, do we think it's safe to assume that I probably wouldn't have to cut the drywall if I came from the bottom, because there's likely a big opening right here, and that's why they use this specific panel, so that way there's easy access for later on? Does that feel like that sounds correct? Because I haven't really looked at this heavily, but look, compared to what I looked at a lot of people's sub panels last night, and or panels, and most of them were like right here, but this has like a whole extra spot, which makes me think there's probably a huge opening there to make it where it's easier to get wires in. Wait, I brought the tablet. You guys can't see? Well, I'm not gonna pull the cover on stream. That I'm not doing. It must be coming in from the bottom. That's the only thing I can think of, the way that the box is. It's gotta be down below. I'm gonna pull the cover off of it, but not on stream. I'm gonna do it later when I investigate things a bit more. But we might be in better shape than I suspected, because if it is a 20 amp and there's no problem swapping out the receptacle, then that's all I would need to do. I still need dedicated 20 amp circuits, but it wouldn't be such an urgent thing. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, so we've got our AB. No, this is our Z. So one of our ABs is really short. We know we need to extend it, and one of our ABs is pretty long. So based off the path that these were routed, which is this way, this is going to be the shorter one. So do we know offhand? I need to keep bringing this tablet with me. Yeah, every single video I've watched on people taking off their cover of their panels, it came in from the top. But it seems weird to me that the switch would be on the bottom unless they just put it on the bottom so that way you don't have to get near the live wire up top while you're switching it off. I can't think of any other reason, really. It also makes me wonder, though, like, to feed new wire down there, how difficult is it to feed from the bottom? That seems like that'd be more challenging to me because you can't just drill from the top. So I don't know. That's the first part. It looks like it's bottom fed, right? Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not like I'm not pulling it off on stream, man. There's some things I'll do, there's some things I draw the line. I just was curious to get more eyes on it because I don't have really anyone here to show it. So I'm like, I got you guys. So with the front of the printer facing you guys, is the left normally the A or the B? Is this normally A or B, or is this A and B? I feel like A would be left and B would be right. Just for the sake of
thumbs up emoji, everyone. Raised fist emoji.
Thanks for stopping by, man. Nice, thank you so much for the donation. Yes, smack the like button for electrical. You have buried utilities, I imagine. Looking at the front, B is left? B is left. Okay, so this is B. So B needs to go. So B, okay. Let me move you guys right here. So this is A then. So B is our short one. And this cable is really, really long, which makes me think we should probably shorten it. Because we can't power it on, I'm just like, do I take the time and just shorten it? I mean, this is how much length I've got, and I just need it to go right here. I can't see the connection direction though. It looks like that is correct. So just like that. Maybe I will just quickly do this. And then with the wire that I cut off from here, I can extend the other cable because the other cable's too short. So let's cut this off. Let's see. That's more than enough distance. Hey Raj, thank you so much for the 6 months, man. Can I do sound effects on here? I can't. I gotta walk over and do sound effects. Thank you, man. Cheers. Okay, so yeah, let's cut this wire down. Cut it. Let's see, right about. That's plenty of length. And then these, we don't have to really crimp these. They're just screw down terminals, which is kind of convenient. So let's grab 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just strip off a little bit here. Okay, and then we'll just remove them one at a time. I do have to find that small flathead though. We're gonna need it to remove these. You know, oh, there, I found it. It's on the other side. Ah, there you are. Okay. Zoom out a little bit. Let's see if I'm gonna throw this wire over here because we're gonna need to solder it onto the other the other motor wires are too short. These are beefy, but I do like that they're, you don't have to crimp them. It's kind of, it makes doing this a lot simpler. Okay, one wire done. Next we'll do blue. What board is that? Looks impressive. Does it have built-in SBC? So this is, this is the Spider Pro, and I don't believe it has a built-in SBC. I actually think I was pretty tired when I was doing it, but I'm pretty sure that the actual SBC is in the screen itself. It has to be, yeah. There's like USB plugs and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, the SBC is in the screen. These are just motor plugs. Yep. Yep. SBC's, yeah, that's what I thought. It was like midnight when I was doing the screen last night, but I was pretty sure that I saw what looked like a pie on the back of it, and there was little, wait, did that just pop out on me? What? Oh, I must have, okay. I should look at what I'm doing. You said you swapped yours out though, right? I think you said you went with a Kraken, right? In the end. There we go. Also, LTX, are you in the States or not? I can't remember. I feel like you said you were in the States. And if so, did you just have a 20 amp circuit ready for it? Or did you have to plan for the electrical? Because I ran into the issue last night where I looked around in my garage and was like, wait, this isn't gonna work. So it does look like, based off what I'm seeing, that we might have 20 amp circuits, but with all like standard 15 amp receptacles. So what I'm likely gonna do is after this stream is pull the cover off of our panel and check to see that it does look like there's thicker gauge wire going to the 20 amp circuits compared to the 15. And if that's the case, I'll probably just end up killing the power to the garage and swapping out the receptacle. You're in Texas, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought you were in the States. I couldn't remember if we've ever like discussed that, but I know you were talking about like shipping panels at one point. How is your panels going for this? Did you finish them? I was browsing around the Venture XL like channel last night, and I did see you posted like a top panel and a back panel a while back. Okay, so this is much better. So this is our first wires, which are how do I want to route this? Maybe underneath like that? No, it's, God, it's so many wires. All right, let's see. There we go. It's a little better. Okay, that's in. So yeah, the other, I do have to solder the wires for the other AB. It's like it only barely pops through that pocket there. So I'm gonna unplug it and then we will do some quick soldering here. How do I want to show you guys this? Maybe if I go like this. It's gonna be a little bit awkward, but we like awkward around here. Let's see, that's probably decent enough. All right, so yeah, let me pull that plug through. So this is our little B motor then. It is not long enough. We don't need a whole lot of length, but we do need length.
If you set the beds to heat and a round robin, you can run the machine on 15 amp circuit without any issues, but I have mine on 20 amp.
Yeah, I was planning on doing round robin regardless, but I would have to rewire it. Like I'd have to change out the connector on it, and I'd rather not really. Huh, they soldered these. I guess it's probably okay, but I wouldn't have soldered for screw down terminals. I guess this is just motor wires, but these are also 48 volt motor wires. So yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I would have either bare wired like I did or done ferrules. That's interesting. Okay, let me get my, where's our wire strippers? We just used them. There they are. So far the panels have improved chamber temps. I haven't done the doors yet. Gotcha. I think I was reading that you said you're planning on doing like, sorry, one sec. A like 2020 extrusion door. These wires.
Wait, have we been streaming for an hour and a half? Oh my, wait, there's no way. Has it really been an hour and a half? Okay, well, we'll open up the giveaway in 3 minutes then. I thought it was maybe like 45 minutes. How the heck has it been an hour and a half? That's wild. Let's strip a little more wire back. Make it easier to twist them together. Okay, our wires are bare. 2020 extrusions with 1/4 inch panels. Holy crap, on the door for clarity. I currently get 60C at the very top of the printer. And you said you were using a big CNC, right? To cut out your panels that you had? All right, let me strip the wire off these guys. Everyone keep your fingers crossed, because I would be stoked next week to be like, hey guys, yeah, they are indeed 20 amp circuits with the right appropriately gauged wire. I've swapped out the receptacle. Let's party. I would love, I don't know if I'll use those exact words, but it would make me very happy. Because then I can figure out, I can think a little bit more on what I want to do with the electrical in here and not have to either climb up and figure it out myself or fork out the funds that we just don't really have set aside for it right now. Four foot by 8 foot CNC. God, it's a monster, dude. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that you had mentioned with this electrical box, I don't think you were in the stream earlier, but I did say at the beginning that like you had mentioned, or someone had mentioned, to install that side panel before hanging the electrical box, because it's not like, you have to basically pull the electrical box after if you want to install it. And I did read that and I was aware of that, but because I don't plan on using the included panels, I figured what the heck, I'll just install it. But
I would like to, at some point, once this thing is up and running somewhat consistently, work on getting it enclosed. I have a feeling what I'll likely do is similar to what they did and do split, because I've only got a 33-inch by 33-inch maximum work area on the Shapeoko XXL. But I would like to do beefier panels. Was it because I saw someone in a review said that the reason why the panels were flexing so much with temp was that the holes were, like, the panels were just cut to size. But I'm not entirely sure whether it has anything to do with where their holes are and the size of the acrylic, or if it's the thickness of the acrylic that's causing it. I'm curious to know on this, when you made your panels, did you make them larger widthwise and lengthwise, or was it just the thickness that really was the main thing for not having them warp with temperature? I'm trying to see if I've got a... Oh, there should be one right here. Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I won't be able to cut panels in one go for this thing. Yeah, let's just go like edge to edge, I guess. It's... Aren't you supposed to be sleeping? Where's your shorts? You want to say hi really quick? You gonna say hi? Here. I guess Jackson woke up from his nap. You gonna stand up or are you just gonna sit? You're just gonna sit? Okay. Well, Daddy's working. You have to go inside soon. Maybe you can watch some TV in a minute? You're not gonna go back to sleep? You're hot, dude. You're sweaty. Sweaty child. You guys can't see him, but he's here. Here, let me see. You're covered by the things. There he is. Is mommy sleeping? Mommy's awake? Is baby Landon awake? He's sleeping? I cut my panels larger to mount on the outside of the frame. I wasn't a fan of all the printed pieces securing the panels. Oh, got it. So, because I haven't even really like looked at the panels after seeing the videos, but you're saying that makes sense. So you basically just mounted them to the open, like the slot of the extrusion, while the panels, what's that? Nasty fly, I know. No. Do you want okay, she's been asleep for a little while? Okay. Gotcha. You want to say bye-bye? Daddy's got to get soldering. You can't be out here when Daddy's soldering. Mommy's there. You can go outside. Mommy may put on some TV. She'll make you some foods. Okay. You say bye-bye, everybody? Nope. There you go, buddy. I love you. I'll see you in a little bit. That's a pressure washer, baby. So, really quick, I don't know if you heard, but we might have 20 amp circuits in here. It looks like there's 20 amp circuit breakers in there. So I'm gonna pull the panel, like the cover off of it, and look at the wire. And if the wire's thick enough, all I need to do for right now is get a receptacle from Home Depot and swap it out the receptacle. So, thank you. I love you. Sorry, there's a lot of distractions. Angel, thank you so much, man, for the 5 gifted memberships. Cheers. Sorry, I was getting a little distracted there. I guess time really got away from me on today's stream, and I didn't realize he'd been sleeping for an hour and 10 minutes. I thought he just went down for his nap. Let's see. Desert Wolf got a membership. Gundams, Jack, Eric, and who else? Jim. Missed a month of stream or more. Turns out I missed the baby who was born. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Yeah, he was born on August 31st, so he's 24 days old today, and he's been doing really well up until today. Last night, I guess, was up all night long, like screaming. I guess the camera's not in the right spot. I should probably feel weird looking at my side. So yeah, I guess last night he was up. He's with Aaron at night, and so they were up all night long. And then this morning, I took Jack out to run an errand, thinking that they'd get some sleep. I came back and he was just not having it. He would be asleep 1 second and then wake up like crazy crying, when normally that's not him. Normally when he takes a nap, he like wakes up, and for anyone that's been around babies, I don't know if it's similar, but it's like the grunts at first, you know, and then like works up to a cry. But he just has been screaming. So I'm not sure what's going on. I thought maybe gas, because Jackson had issues with that. So the nurse had showed me like how to do the little bicycles with the legs and push in. I tried that, and that just pissed him off more. So, but we're doing well outside of just, you know, baby sense when you get comfortable, and that's when their mission starts. Yeah, he's definitely a vampire baby. Since he's been home, he has been, prior to this last day here, but like sleeping quite a bit during the day, like 2-hour naps, sometimes 3-hour naps. And then at nighttime, Aaron basically says around midnight, he like wakes up and is just like ready to party. So that's been interesting. I'm also gonna open up the giveaway link. I feel very just like scattered today, more than normal. I apologize to everyone for, I think that the electrical thing last night, like I felt like I was on a good flow. And then last night when I saw that we weren't gonna be able to power this thing on today, I panicked. I was like, no way. Like we spent 2.5 months on this thing and I can't even plug it in. But I'm hoping, I'm feeling good about the fact that I think we probably got 20 amp circuits, and it might just be a receptacle swap. So where is chat? Chat is over here. Hey Steve. Hey Kydorn. I just posted, hey Collie. I just posted the why can't I pin it? What the heck's going on? Chat, okay, I am not able to pin this. Let me check one more thing here. I keep getting, I'll let you guys see the back. This is where my chat normally is, right here. And it's just, I'm getting the error monkey. It's been doing that. And so I had to access chat from the front end, but it's not letting me pin the message. So I'm not sure what is going on. Chat is broken. Can I pin it now? It is just not letting me. Let me move the chat to this window. Maybe it's because I'm using this little tablet thing. Let's see. No, it's just not working. Who's a moderator in here? Zombie's a moderator. I don't know if he's in here. He was in here earlier. Zombie, if you're here, can you pin this? And if you're not here, well, let me try one more thing here. Let me exit out of here. Oh, maybe that's why I can't pin it, is because of the fact that I can't see chat right now, just so everyone's aware. I'm gonna try one other thing here. Let me try opening the good old Edge browser and seeing if I can access the back end from Edge, because Brave decided to be silly today. I had this happen to me at one point for a while. Like, it was quite a few streams in a row where this was happening, and then it seemed like it fixed itself for many months now. Okay, I have to verify my login from my phone. Yes, it's me. Okay. Yeah. I should know whether this is going to work or not in like a minute. Let's see, contents, live streams, control room. There's my chat. All right. So let me just pop out the chat in an Edge window. Hey, Steve's here. Hi, Steve. Dude. So, really quickly, let me pin the giveaway link. Where the hell did it go? Here it is. Wait, no. Oh my goodness. Sorry, it's my first stream. I'm still learning how things work. There we go. Okay. So Steve, after yesterday, after I messaged you about the AC or the neutral wires, it kind of stuck a little bit better, and I did throw electrical tape on it just to have it on there. Well, I was up in the garage till like a little after midnight, just getting things ready, mounting the electronics box, because I was like, dude, today we're gonna power this thing on, it's gonna be great. And then I grabbed the power cable for it, and I knew that this was I knew that I'd heard this was a 20 amp printer, or that it like needed 20 amps. And I was like, well, I'd heard that you could probably run it off 15 amps safely as long as you stagger the heaters on the bed, which is what I'd plan on doing. But what I didn't realize was that the power cable is completely different, and I don't have any outlets that can take this. And so I was up from 12 till about 2 in the morning, researching all sorts of things, again, about adding circuits, and felt like I was getting close to just ordering stuff today and climbing up in the attic and trying to do it. But Aaron's not stoked on me running electrical for the house, even if I pull permits and like get it signed off by an inspector. So I called an electrician, so I'm gonna get quotes on that and other stuff. But on today's stream, I opened up the panel, and both my garage ceiling, like the garage door openers, as well as the garage outlets, have a 20 amp circuit breaker in the box. So although they have the 20 amp circuit breaker, all of the receptacles are your like typical parallel top 120, 15 amp receptacles. So after the stream, the plan is to pull the cover off of the panel, look at the wires coming out of, or look at the wires going into the 15 amp circuit breakers and the 20 amp circuit breakers. And as long as the 20 amp ones are larger, then I feel confident that they actually use 12-2 wire for it. And then I can just go and get a 20 amp receptacle and swap out the receptacle. So it's been a freaking whirlwind of, it's been a whirlwind, man. Hey, Terminally Chill. So giveaway link is open for anyone that is wanting to get in on the giveaway. I'm going to get back to what I was doing at one point, which was soldering and extending the motor wires that are too short. So let's do that before I got heavily distracted, and I haven't squirreled that hard in a while. Okay. Cool, there's our wires. They're sort of in focus, I think. They look relatively in focus. Let me double check. Can you see my hands? Yeah, they're in focus. Okay, so these are the wires we're going to be adding on. They're already stripped, so I just need helping hands, which is very useful, especially in this situation with how short these wires are. So I'm going to, let's see, let's take off, I only need 2 of these. Okay. Did I just drop a wire or no? It looks like I dropped the green wire. I did, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to twist these together. I'm definitely not gonna spend the time and shorten all wires right now and like get them to the like ideal lengths, because of the fact that I also am probably gonna have to pull the box at some point when I do install panels. But this one I had no choice because the wire was just too short, and then the one we did earlier was really long and it was just an easy fix. So yeah, I got heat shrink. Yep. I would have pre-installed it, but because the wires are all, you know, individual strand, but I thought ahead. I do have a box of it right here. So the next thing I need to do is just figure out what I can plug this power cable into to power the soldering iron. I'll probably have to unplug the fan, which is fine. Okay. Yeah, there's the fan plug. No more fan for me. Okay, sweet. Yeah, we got plenty of length. We've got our little tip cleaner right here. We've got a little bit of solder right here. And we need our soldering iron. Where's the tip? Where's the tip for this? There it is. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll. No, there have been times, plenty of times, but I'm sure it's happened to you too, Tuxedo. And if it hasn't, just lie to me because it'll make me feel better about myself. Where like I'm, soldering wires together in a situation where you need to preload the heat shrink because you don't have an end you can get it over, whether there's a connector or whatever. And I've forgotten more times than I'm proud to admit. So I will always take a reminder grab the heat shrink. I picked up a Centauri Carbon from Facebook Marketplace 2 days ago. Honestly, I don't really see what all the fuss is about. I wouldn't buy another. Oh, interesting. I mean, it's not a bad printer for the price. I think that's the big thing. Like, for what is the retail on it? It's like $300 or something like that. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, it's not like, oh wow, the Centauri Carbon is this groundbreaking printer, because it's not. But for the price, it's hard to compete with that at $300. I think that's really what its novelty is its price, more than anything else. We'll do the heat shrink all after. Okay, red wire's done. Blue wire. All right, that makes me feel it makes me feel a little better. I'm like, if you tell me you've never forgotten, I'm like, dude, there's no way. Sometimes it's not that big of a deal when you forget. It's just kind of like a no, but there's certain situations I've been in where forgetting really sucks because you just don't have a lot of extra wire to play around with, and having to remove it can be quite difficult, in my opinion, to remove the solder from wires you've just put together. So sometimes I'll just cut and start over, but I've been in situations where it's not super feasible to do that. So okay, I've forgotten the heat shrink tuning. Yeah, I've got a CC running next to me right now. I need some tuning. Centauri Carbon, but it has been fine. Yeah, I know quite a few people that's maybe an overstatement. I know a handful of people that do a lot of really large printing for things like props, and they seem to be quite happy with it. It seems fairly reliable. I do know that there's drama surrounding the fact that it's running Clipper, and they, I think, say that it's not, or haven't released the code. I asked them about it. I ask pretty much every company. FL Sun reached out to me. It wasn't under NDA, so I can say it. FL Sun's releasing a new machine. I don't know the details on it because I'm not testing it as of now, but they reached out to me to test it, and I initially shot it down basically saying, hey, like, no, I'm not going to test it. You guys said that with previous printers, you were going to be releasing the firmware, the source code, because it's running Clipper, and then you told me that your engineers changed their mind, so I'm not going to be testing it. And then they told me, actually, we did release all of the like firmware to comply with open source. And I said, oh, that's great. So then I tweeted about it because stuff I was seeing online felt like that statement wasn't necessarily true, and the kind of responses I got were all over the place, still not confirming whether it was true or not. But it does seem like they released something. And so then they asked me about the new printer again, and I said, well, if it's running Clipper, are you guys releasing the source code? And they said, oh, for this one, we don't plan on it as of now, or whatever. So I said, well, I can't test it then. I said, I wish you luck with your endeavor. I've liked the company in the past. I'm just sad with the route they're going. And I know that they're not the only one. It seems like most companies, like I asked, when I reviewed the Cobra S1, I asked as well whether it was Clipper, and they said, no, it's not, it's their own thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's Clipper as well, but I'm not here to be a detective, right? Like, if I can see the information, then sure, I can state it. But other than that, the best I can do really is ask the manufacturer. but it sucks. Like I definitely don't like it. I mean, it's like Clipper is this open source project that's free that we all benefit from, but although it's free, like someone's doing the work for it, right? Like there's devs, there's hobbyists, there's people contributing to it, and that's great. That's awesome. It's amazing. But like, if you're gonna use it and benefit from people's work that you're not paying for, the least you could do is credit them and comply with the basics of, hey, here's the firmware. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. It seems like more and more people don't really care that much about that, and so I'm not reviewing all printers just because they haven't released the source code. It really depends. Like every situation is a little bit different, but with FL Sun specifically, they told me early on it was Clipper. They told me they were going to release it, and so I bugged them about it, and they were like, no, we changed our mind. And I'm like, that's just wrong, man. Sure, yeah. Yeah, thank you. No flux? No, this is, I feel like the solder is, I feel like the solder has, no, I don't typically, depending on what I'm wiring, I don't usually use flux for wires like this. If I'm soldering onto a pad or like a PCB of sorts, I always use flux, but for thin wires like this, I don't really ever have issues with, I don't really have ever issues with just using this directly. But yeah, PCBs, I always will use some flux. I picked up some flux based off of, pretty sure it was Tuxedo's recommendation as well. I think it was like in a syringe. I think it's actually in a bottle, like a squeeze bottle with like a needle tip on it. And I used that a little bit. It's a little sticky compared to the stuff I'm used to, which is like a paste, but it's definitely convenient to just quickly apply. Okay, so our soldering's done. That's all we needed to do. I'm sorry you guys don't have a better, I mean, it's not super exciting stuff, but I still apologize you guys don't have a better camera angle. It's quite awkward. Let's see if I zoom in a little bit. Maybe right there is a little better. I'm just gonna heat shrink it and then feed it through. Yeah, let's grab our heat shrink. Probably need a new battery as well for my little Ryobi. The hot air gun, the heating element takes a lot of juice. Oh, these are all tiny batteries. That's fine. We'll just grab one of these. Yeah, at least it's fully charged. Okay. The wires, these wires weren't pre-tinned though, right, Tuxedo? I mean, they were tinned at the ends, but I cut that off to get just bare wire, so they weren't tinned. I just bought a Fairphone. What is that? I was surprised when people were surprised the Clipper was been Clipper from the get-go. I figured it was Clipper and Elegoo was just lying. Yeah, well, the thing that was like a little bit suspect to me with a lot of these companies is that when these companies were transitioning from Marlin to Clipper, like that whole first generation or second generation, they were basically all using white labeled maker-based boards, right? Like I know Chidi was, Elegoo was, pretty sure that the Cobra was as well, like one of the early Cobras. And so for them to go from, okay, we're not even making our own boards, or like, you know, they're basically just white labeled boards, running Clipper, to like, no, we have like custom boards now with custom firmware. I'm like, that seems like a bit of a leap to me. I just, you know, I don't like to necessarily, what's the word, like question people's capabilities, but like that seems like a bit of a leap, you know, like so. Okay. Oh no. I smell burned hair. It must be my knuckles. It's not that hot, but I guess my hair thought it was. Yeah, it must have been my knuckles. Fairphone or repairable. Interesting. I haven't heard about that. I feel like I used to scorch my hair all the time when I was doing a lot more, like back when I was doing like some reflow stuff. You just, it's a smell that you never forget, you know. Also, for anyone just joining in, giveaway link is that a wire? No. I need to move this a little bit. Giveaway link is open. There we go. So if you want to get into the Polymaker giveaway, do so now. It's definitely a very slow heat gun, but the convenience of these are also very thick. They're also very thick heat shrink tubes. They've got like the adhesive liquid inside of them. I don't love them. I'm just like they don't look very good. They're just really wide, especially on a small cable like this. They just don't look good. And they're also not shrinking as much as they should be, which is weird. It's supposed to be 3:1. But because I bought them a while ago, I'm like, I gotta use these up eventually. But they're not my favorite. I will not be buying them again for regular stuff. 30 seconds with a power tool versus 5 seconds with a lighter. I use, yeah. Lighters work well for this. That is what I used for a really long time. I've got a AC like rework hot air wand thing, and that will, you know, it takes a second. It's very efficient compared to this. Even heat guns like that are AC powered are a lot better. But it is nice not having to have a cable. But yeah, it takes a while. Especially this stuff. It's just thick walled. It's going exceptionally slow today. I think it's like camera shy maybe. That's odd. Whatever. That's done. Okay, one more. Hot glue. Those are the type with hot glue on the inside. Oh, is that what it is? It does it say hot glue? It doesn't even say it. Yeah, when I bought it, I was very confused with how thick they were, like the walls of them. Yeah, I will say, like, this hot air gun works a lot better when it's just the regular heat shrink that doesn't have the lining. But I bought apparently 400 pieces of it, so trying to work my way through it. But I cannot recommend it. It's certainly not a heat shrink I'd recommend you buy. I'm sure it has its place. Okay, calling that good enough. I bought some of that heat shrink 3:1 with the adhesive inside. It's great for some applications. Yeah, I'm sure it has its place, but for the stuff I've been doing, it's just a pain because my goal almost always is to keep the. So I guess like pretty much any situation where the thickness of your overall wire bunch isn't a concern, it's probably fine. But with 3D printing, like I'm typically always trying to keep things as thin as possible. And so for that, it's just been a kind of a pain in the butt. Okay, so let's feed these wires through. Man, this music is way too chill. Where's my mouse? There we are. Way too chill. In about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, we'll do the filament giveaway as well. Okay. We got a ton of wire. We need our connector and some strippers. Let's see, here's our connector. Where's our wire strippers? Okay. So I will leave a little bit of slack, but certainly not as much as this. And we need to go, let's see if I route this along a similar path as the other guy. It's going somewhere right about here. So let's say, chop it right about there, maybe. Chop it right about there. Alright. And to strip the wire down. I'm very excited about those inline Wagos that came up earlier in the stream. It just looks like, really nice. Let's make sure the colors are correct. So if this plugs in, so I'll get the wires installed on this, and then we'll do the giveaway. So red is on the left. Like so. 2-hour mark. Yeah, we'll I buy longer, cut them, and seal the ends with. Wait, what? I quite like it for sleeving a bundle of wires. It holds the sleeve and wires in place very well. Oh, got it. You're talking about the glue holds the wire sleeving. I could see that. I've used it for that before. The biggest issue I still have with it is that it just makes it so stiff. I think I used it on the Mercury build, and it's okay for one of them, but for the other one, it's like, I kind of want the end of it to have a little bit of flex in case it were to bump something and not, like, I'd want the bunch of cables to like give a little bit, but with how stiff it is, I worry that if it were to hit something, or yeah, that if it would hit something, that it would actually, all the impact would go to the connectors or the wires that it's hooked up to. But I have used it for that as well. Hey, BBs. I buy longer, cut them, and seal the ends with that shrink stuff. To keep it from, you use it to keep it from unraveling even when you're not using it? If that's the case, that's pretty smart, because I haven't done that, and I will say that, like, just from having it in storage, every time I use it, it like starts to unsleeve a little bit more and it gets all messy. Okay, let's double check this. Red, blue, green, black. That looks good. Okay, so let's route this underneath here like so. And this connects right here, and our AB motors are officially in, I think. Yep. Awesome. I will probably end up doing the same thing for a lot of the Z wires. I actually need to extend one as well. The rest of them seem fine, so I'll end up doing that. I'll probably do that on my own time. I'm not gonna have you guys watch me do that. I don't think so. Okay. Shoelaces, those are interesting motor plugs. Yeah, they're really not the norm. Usually it's JST, but I could see why they're using them for the 5160s. They're 48 volts, but they're even using them for the Z motors, which are just 24 volt 2209s, but it's okay. I don't mind crimping like JST, the PHs? No, JST X, the two, whatever the most common one is, I don't mind crimping those at all, but I will say, like, de-pinning them is kind of a pain in the butt, so since we have the space in this big electronics box, I like that they're using these terminals. They're nice. Okay, everybody, so I will give everyone another minute before I remove the giveaway link for the spool of polymaker filament, and then we will do our giveaway. XH, that's right, yep. I need to redo the wiring on my V0 at such a single mess. It'd be kind of fun to pop open the back on my 3 V0s and look at the wiring. I'm sure that one of them, I'm running CAN bus on one, so that one's probably pretty clean. I have a feeling my original V0 might be okay. And then one of them is probably just a rat's nest. Yeah, crimping XH is really nice. I don't, PHs I'm okay with. I for some reason, I think that I have issues with the ratcheting crimper with PHs, and so I use the, I don't know, manual crimper. Excuse me, sorry. That was loud. I use the manual crimper and have pretty good luck with that. And then anything outside of that, smaller, I just can't do. I just cannot do it. I'm too shaky, I get too frustrated. Like, yeah, PHs and XHs are about what I'll do as far as JST connectors go. I don't know what that is, Pico Blade. I had a lot of issues with Microfit 2.0. Yeah, I had a lot of issues with Microfit 2.0 initially, but I feel like I've gotten better at them. There was a V0, wait, would you call them my Pico Blade? There was a V0 breakout board that was really popular that I installed on my first V0, and it nearly wrecked me. But I think part of the issue was, one, I was crimping them wrong, and then also Steve had mentioned, because we used them in the Tic Tac build, and Steve had mentioned that there's a specific direction you have to insert them because otherwise they won't lock in place. And I can't remember. I had to ask Steve every time, like, was it this way or this way? And I don't remember. But that was very helpful in the moment. Gotcha. So these look almost like just tiny JSTs. Oh yeah, 1.25 millimeter. I think I have a box of these. Is this what the original Big Tree Tech Stealth Burner CAN bus toolhead board was using? Looks like you're close enough to possibly make it move next stream. Yeah, I was hoping we were gonna get it to move this stream LTX till I ran into the electrical issues, or that I found out that there was, you know, issues with me being able to plug this thing in. But I also feel confident that the next stream we will power it on and make it move. It probably won't be next Wednesday though. When it might be. We'll see. Next Tuesday is my birthday, and I was thinking about Wednesday just doing like a chill hangout and print stream. But we'll see. If I get the receptacle in, if it all ends up working out, I might just want to get this thing moving because the sort of suspense is killing me. Okay, so I'm removing the form, and then you've got 60 seconds if you are still entering in, and then we'll do the drawing. Pico blades are used on the Stealth Burner 22. Okay, yeah, got it. I sold my 2.4 on my Merc. Oh man, just had this Centauri car on now. Honestly, got a tinkering and tuning. But now I'm watching this and starting to crave another project. I get it. So I love building. I always have, like in tinkering and hacking and modding away at things. But I've also had times over the last 10 years of printing where like I just want to get the thing done as quickly and as simply as possible. And in those situations, sometimes it can be frustrating having a machine that's like one that you tinker with a lot, because it's like, I just need this thing to work. So I can understand that. I like having both. It's fun to have printers that you can tinker around on and modify and upgrade and do all that stuff. But then I also like, I've mentioned it many a times, but like I use my Bamboos all the time. If I just need to print something and I can monitor it on my phone, like I like the consistency and sort of simplicity of it. But I'd be really, personality-wise, I'd be very bored with just that. Like I like having the option to tinker around and build machines as well. Even before doing all the YouTube stuff, it was like video game consoles a lot of, but I was buying and hacking video game consoles for many, many years, which I really enjoyed. Okay, this looks like, yeah. I feel like these are fine. There's enough slack on these. I'm a little bit concerned about these AC wires on the bed here. I feel like I should have left probably a little bit of slack. That's probably okay. Yeah, it's probably okay. I'm probably a little paranoid. That's fine. Okay, let's do it. I love building them, modding them, and all. It's the tuning. Got it. That's fair. Tuning does get tiring. I usually get to a point where I just call it good enough. They're also used on the X1 tool heads. Gotcha. I haven't had to, luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had to crimp anything when replacing anything on them.
Okay, well, let's do this. So we've got 75 responses. 93 people here. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. Let's see if we can get to, let's get to 80 likes. I believe we can do it. All right, I've got everybody's name. All right, here we go.
I broke one just pulling out the socket while changing a hot end. Oh, geez. I feel like I broke the header housing. That is not the connector. I'm pretty sure Tuxedo that maybe not on the bamboo printers, but I've definitely had instances where I've broken the side of one of the housings. Like, you know, you've got like the two, basically like the two things sticking out that make sure the cable goes in one direction and kind of lock it in place. I haven't damaged those, but like I've damaged the side wall of the connectors before. I've just broken it. Okay. Let's do this. I like the like. Did you? How many times were we shuffling? I've got nothing today that I can. Let's see. It is 6 days to my birthday. I am turning 33, so we could do 33, or we could do 33 next week. Let me do 33 next week. We'll shuffle 30. Yeah. How many times are we shuffling today, everybody? We'll do 33 next week. 35 spins. Oh, dude, tomorrow's your birthday. Sick. Are you turning 35? We'll do 35 spins. You're the first person to say so. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 35. Nice. Here we go. Yes, sir. Cool, man. Hey, happy early birthday, both to you and to Deanna again. All my birthday peeps in the end of September. Here we go. 1, 2. You're 31 years and 1 day older. That's awesome. All right, here we go. Good luck, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Musin, you are our winner of the week. Congratulations to you. Let's see. Do some cheers, some squirrel sounds. Congratulations, Musin. You are our winner. I will send you an email this evening, I'm sure, with your form and with your code that you'll need to be able to fill out that form. So thank you to Polymaker for letting us do these giveaways. Thank you everyone for entering in. If you do want to support the channel, one way you can do so is by picking up some Polymaker filament. There are links in the description. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does, a percentage of the sales do go back to the channel, which is always appreciated. It lets me get things like 20 amp receptacles. So anyways, everyone, I think we're gonna call it here. It's getting pretty toasty. It's not really. I mean, it's 87 Fahrenheit, which is toasty. It's very toasty. We usually upstairs it's like 71 when we stream, but compared to how it's been, it's not as bad. But I'm getting toasty. I will this evening pull the panel and update everybody on what's going on. But yeah, if it ends up being that the 20 amp circuits are indeed using the correct wire for a 20 amp circuit, then I will end up going to pick up the receptacle tomorrow. I still think it's probably overkill, but for the sake of just no questions with homeowners insurance, I will very likely still have an inspector come out just to look at it, which is, I get that it's silly, but being, I don't know, man. It's just something about having a pro look at it and also just making sure everything is above board. But we'll see. As far as adding additional ones, we'll see. I'll update everybody once I have pricing on that as well. But hopefully next week we can plug this thing in and see it power on. I will try to do as much of the electrical as possible. I'll try to do all of the electrical. So basically plug in all the rest of the wires, extend and shorten things as needed. So that way hopefully we can power it on and dance, or be super bummed out when it doesn't doesn't work out. Thank you so much, Deanna. I don't think we have any plans for my birthday. My parents won't be in town until the end of October, and with the newborn, I don't think we'll go out. Maybe we will, I don't know. But it'll probably be just like a chill dinner at home and a movie type thing, so. All right, thanks for the stream. Take care. Sleep well and dream of large printers. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out and keeping me company and listening to rants. Thank you to our gifted memberships, our new members, our existing, and just everyone chilling and having a good time. And yeah, just squirreling around. So I'll catch you guys next week. The plan is, if all goes well, we will stream at the same time as normal. So today was only 30 minutes late because it was just kind of chaos here, and I wanted to make sure Aaron at least could eat breakfast before I had to go out and stream, or before stream time. So love the stream as always. Have a great afternoon. Thank you, Terminally. Thank you, GPs. Green Beer, thank you for the stream. Tuxedo, thanks for the stream, Daniel. Take care. Keep us posted. Yeah, I'll let you guys know for sure. Believe me, if you guys keep your eyes peeled on the live stream channel, any updates, I'll take a photo of the wires in the box and take a photo if I swap out the receptacle. So yeah, you guys, I'll keep you guys updated. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your week. I will not have a video out this Saturday. Things have just been crazy. I normally do like 2 on. I think I do like 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off, or something like that. So yeah, this is an off week, but there will be a video next Saturday. So, all right, everybody, I will catch you guys later. Bye.